Maybe we just need to clarify. My name is Mtuduzi Mbongwe, the Deputy General Secretary of SACAO. First, we want to clarify two issues. One concerns the current environment within the CEC. Our understanding is that NUMSA was given an opportunity to make a presentation on why they should not be expelled or dismissed. We received their presentation. Ours was to apply our minds, hence the request that we made to the CEC. Unfortunately, if you look at those who chair meetings at COSATU, they are all linked and behave like representatives of their affiliates instead of acting as leaders of the federation. One, the president comes from Nehau. Nehau adopted a view 4 days before the NUMSA presentation, and therefore the outcome was predetermined. The so-called second deputy president portrays herself as someone from Pope Crew. Pope Crew made a public statement on the expulsion of NUMSA, even before they could listen what NUMSA was going to say. And you can see there the trend in terms of the conduct of those national office bearers. They behave like representatives of their affiliates instead of acting as leaders of the federation that must treat all affiliates equally. There was also a suggestion by one of the deputy presidents chairing a session when there were two motions on the floor that we should withdraw our motion, instead of saying one of the people who have moved this motion should consider withdrawal of a motion. To us, that demonstrated bias on the part of the leadership of the federation. The other issue concerns the agenda of the Special National Congress. We have tabled two issues for the Special National Congress, and there is a collective view amongst the 9 affiliates that there should be an assessment of the causes and development of a program to address the current paralysis within the federation. And secondly, the point is to elect new leaders, because based on the conduct of the current leadership, we are more convinced now that we need to elect new leaders of the federation in order to pursue the resolutions of our federation. Thanks.
Thanks, Comrade Ntu. Before allowing the comrade, just 2 additions on what Comrade Ntu was saying. The deputy GS comes from SEPAU. It's one affiliate that hasn't had their constitutional meetings over 3 years. And the president, the deputy president who was advocating withdrawal comes from NUM. So those are the linkages of the leaders that Comrade Ndu spoke of.
My name is Comrade Abdul Hadif, and I'm the PAWUSA General Secretary. You know, I'm asking myself the question on specifically what Comrade Frans Baleni said, and he said that if NUMSA show remorse, then there will be a possibility for the overturning of the sanction. Now, from myself, you are all workers here. If I'm requested at the National Congress to forward resolutions as per that Congress decisions, would there be an opportunity for me now to overturn what my union or what my membership have told me? If that is the kind of remorse that they want for NUMSA to overturn resolutions and policies that has been decided upon, then I need to ask Frans Baleni again a question. Thank you.
Thanks, Com. Thanks. Comrade DGS? And Comrade President?
No, thanks, Press. My name is Moleko Pakedi. I'm the Deputy General Secretary of Food and Allied Workers Union. I think on rather ANC intervention, there was a question that relates to that. We received the ANC intervention with our own reservation, not necessarily excited, so to say. Understanding that such intervention came at the midst of the restatement of Zwelinzima Vabi by a court of law. So we're not necessarily excited when the African National Congress task team came in and said it intervened. By the way, we're of the view that we're in a worse situation than we were when the ANC intervened. The same ANC task team report that was presented at the CEC was kicked out, I suppose, at the breath of air by those affiliates that believe that they need to ensure that NUMSA is expelled and obviously continue with the program that they had, expelling NUMSA supposedly, dealing with the General Secretary of COSATU supposedly, and I suppose now dealing with each and every affiliate that they differ with in that particular federation. I'm certainly stating that the ANC intervention did not necessarily help, and we didn't have such an expectation. Whether we would form a new federation or not, well, that's one issue that I suppose the sitting special NECs and CECs will have to reflect on. And I suppose that will build up to our respective national congresses to resolve on this particular issue. But look at the COSATU as it is now. It's an organization that is paralyzed. A central executive committee that lacks the ability to reason logically with itself, find each other, and advance the unity and cohesion of the federation. So that question is not far-fetched, and I think is necessary. Probably not even end there. And the debate probably that this NECs, I suppose, building up to probably congresses of these affiliates need to discuss is the alliance itself. We understand that NUMSA has already taken decisions so far as these aspects are concerned. Mind you, NUMSA comes from its special national congress. Had the COSATU leadership granted the special national congress that was demanded constitutionally by this affiliate, NUMSA would have the opportunity to present those congress resolutions that they have adopted. Would have debated that particular national congress resolution taken at the special congress of NUMSA, and hopefully come to a different or the same conclusion that NUMSA came with. If you look at what is currently confronting the workers and the working class at large in this particular country. I thank you, President.
Thank you, Comrade President.
Thank you, President. My name is Atwell Nazo, the President of Food and Allied Workers Union. I think partially I'm covered by the answers by our Deputy General Secretary, Comrade Ndiko, on forming a new federation. But one, Comrade, I think it needs to be said categorically straightforward, that we are fighting for the soul of our own federation, which was built by our four leaders. FAO and other unions, they are the ones who started COSATU from the scratch. It's not an easy thing that you can leave the federation and go and form another new federation. We are all fighting for the soul of our own federation, which is COSATU, which currently, as we see it, it has been now controlled by the few who are changing the direction of that federation, which we all know how COSATU was, as a militant and campaigning federation. There's another question that talks to, did we talk to the President or the General Secretary of COSATU about our plan? I didn't capture this question properly, because really we are independent unions and we have a right to decide on our own in terms of whatever that we want to do. We cannot report to the President of COSATU or the General Secretary on any action that we want to take. In terms of, on the other question of where we are running a risk of being expelled, we can't be fearing expulsion in the federation. We'll talk of actually what we know, because we are a mandate-driven organization. With whatever mandate we get from our members, we must drive those land resolutions, whether they will push us to being expelled by those few in that central committee, in that CEC. Let it be. We can't run away from that. But we cannot run away from talking the truth and defending our members. Because now, all what is going on in that CEC, all the members of the federation are put aside. Only the few that are deciding for the 2.2 million members of that federation. That is actually the issue that we cannot allow to continue forever. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Comrade President. Dinosa. Yes, sir. Dinosa.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. The name is Simpiwe Kata from Dinosa. I think, I was sitting there and I'm thinking that probably we also need to share with you to say what really transpired in the CEC. You see, there's a clause in the COSATU constitution that says that any decision that is taken in the CEC becomes effective once it's communicated formally by the NOPs of COSATU. Now, if you take that clause and you bring it to the NUMSA scenario, fine, the decision was taken that NUMSA must be expelled through a vote. But what the Constitution then says, it means that that decision could have been effective once it has been formally communicated in a letter that would state the reasons why NUMSA is being expelled. But we must say that it was the president, the person who must be the custodian of our Constitution, Stumo Dlamini, who then stood up and said, as far as he is concerned, to quote him, as far as he is concerned, NUMSA is no more part of COSATU. Now, that tells you that we went in a meeting with people who were hypnotized, people who were conditioned that this is what they must do, whether there's a political debate or no political debate, because the simplicity of the matter is that when NUMSA responded to the 5 charges through its presentation, there was no political debate to say, based on 1, 2, and 3, we think that you must be expelled. There was no such. That's why we are also waiting, with anticipation to say, what will that letter that will be communicating that decision, what will it state as reasons for expulsion of NUMSA? Because the only reason that we know is that NUMSA was expelled through a vote and nothing else. There was no political debate that was allowed in that CEC. So when the president of NUMSA said at Birchwood that we are dealing with gangsters, I can confirm that we are dealing with gangsters in that federation. Because if ever you say that you are a worker-driven organization, why are we simply denying the members, the owners of COSATU, a special national congress so that they can decide on their own future? We cannot take 60 people and say they must decide for the future of over 2.2 million members. So we are saying it here that, especially on the question that do we get new mandate to now suspend our participation, I think it's clear. We are going to get mandate from our members through the meetings that we'll be convening, where we'll be consulting our members. Our members must guide us. That's what we are saying, that we have reached where we have reached, and we think that we must go and share with our members what is happening so that members can guide us. If members say one thing, then we'll do what they tell us to do. But one thing that we must say, that because there seems to be this view that we want to form another federation, that will not happen. We're not going to form another federation. We belong to COSATU. We own COSATU. We are members of COSATU. And we're going to fight for COSATU. That's what we're going to do. Because we must fight. We think that COSATU now is being affected by an Ebola in the name of Stumo. Stumo is the Ebola of COSATU. That we must say. We must say that we must protect COSATU against that Ebola that is has engulfed COSATU. Because that is what is happening. In fact, to put it that if then one of the reasons that is used to expel NUMSA is that NUMSA contravened the constitution of COSATU. Who contravened the constitution of COSATU? Is it not the president of COSATU, when the clause is simple that he must convene a special congress? But he deliberately contravened that clause. So he is the first one that was supposed to have shown to be shown the door. So we are calling on all the members of COSATU, members of affiliates, because one thing I can tell you is that even those unions who have voted for the expulsion of COSATU, of NUMSA, one thing that they fear is that should we go to a special congress and workers are there, workers are going to speak against those decisions and those postures that they've taken in that CEC. Because one thing that we can tell you is that they never consulted their members on taking this posture that they've taken. We can only confirm on SATU, which had a congress recently, which spoke, even though there were divisions within SATU. But one thing that we know is that let's allow the rightful owners of COSATU the 2.2 members of COSATU to decide their future. That's what we're calling for. Simple, nothing else. We know that we'll be labeled and say that we are counter-revolutionary and so that, but we're not bothered because it's easy these days to name comrades and call them sellouts. But we know that we are still committed to the cause that our members elected us for, which is to fight for their rights and to fight for a campaigning COSATU. That's what we're going to fight for. So we are calling on our members. We must utilize this opportunity to say, our members, let's go and fight that Ebola that has attacked COSATU.
You're going to be,
Yes, my name is Godfrey Soetmelk from Pausa. I just wanted to put this on the table that the expulsion of NUMSA, which we are all here and we are against, is setting the federation back hugely. Over the years, resolutions have been taken, and there's a 2015 plan that was put in place that the federation should grow to 4 million members. Now, taking away 350,000 members and taking away all the affiliates that are here present, which amounts to about 900,000 members, is going to be a huge setback to the federation's aspirations of growing the federations. And it will also be a setback to the fact that resolutions was taken to swell the ranks of the ANC. And this in itself is based on emotional decisions that was taken and through vindictiveness. 3-hour statement or reasons were submitted in a 44-page report by NUMSA as reasons why they shouldn't be expelled. And within a blink of an eye, a decision was taken that they be expelled. So I think we all need to take note of the fact that there are resolutions to raise the federation's member totals to 4 million. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, once more, I want to contextualize the real reasons for NUMSA's expulsion. It had nothing to do with their special Congress resolutions. NUMSA was assaulted in the CEC of February 2013, not 2014, together with Zwelinzima Vavi. Vavi's the reason was he is elevating NUMSA to the status of a federation because NUMSA tended to take the campaigns that are supposed to be done by the federation. They were labeled in that as ultra-left and syndicalists. So this thing of the special Congress is a scapegoat because all unions do have their own congresses, take resolutions, some of which are intended to strengthen whatever is existing in COSATU and not regarded as a contradiction. And once a COSATU Congress is called, it's then that such resolutions will either be debated for endorsement or defeat. That has happened to NUMSA several times. It happened in 1993 when they were still having Kotongwana as the General Secretary. Now, this is a fallacy, but NUMSA has, because of whatever postures they've taken around the NDP and everything else, took that flag and their resolutions are used as a scapegoat.
Thanks, Comrade. Yes.
There's a question about Samu. Yeah. Samu is not here. We have not met with Samu. We don't know because all affiliates were invited to come here. But they were in the meeting that decided that will convene this special conference.
Thanks, Comrade President. My name is Angie Petle, the first Deputy President of SACAU. Mine is to emphasize the point that says on the press, NUMSA was unfairly dismissed. By the way, from the report of the ANC task team, we are still waiting a final report from the ANC task team when the ANC, during their report, they were advised that in terms of some of their reporting is a flawed. They've made accuracies or utterances or gave a report wherein some of the affiliates has not spoken about. They were clapping everything together, close to those who are close to them, like already the comrades have said. So therefore, NUMSA is unfairly dismissed because the ANC task team will still have to go back and correct the report on affiliates that were saying they are against NUMSA, whereas that was not the case. Thanks, Comrade President.
Thanks, Comrade.
Good morning. My name is Sibusiso Kekana, and I'm the National Treasurer of SASABC. Comrades, we want to contextualize further, although my comrades have covered me, into the happenings or the 7th, 8th of November in relation to what happens in the CEC. You see, comrades, when the motions were prepared that were going to be voted on, these unions sitting here, the motion said, and it's very simple, it said, we want to engage the 49-page, 48-page summary presentation of 2.5 hours or 3 hours that the NUMSA has presented. Now, we were denied that right. They said, within 10 minutes after NUMSA presented, within 10 minutes, comrades, we have heard your summary of 48 pages without going back to all these 5 charges to say, on this particular charge, this is what we view. On this particular charge, this is what we view. They said, we are moving for your dismissal. So, comrades, it is torture to go to the CEC because you don't get to engage with documents that are presented at CEC. And we want to contrast that, comrades, with the ANC task team report that we received. This is what happened when the ANC presented the report. We received the report. The president of COSATU said we will take clarifying questions. Just on that basis, comrades, with the NUMSA presentation, we were never even afforded an opportunity to say, do we have any clarifying questions? Immediately, they move for the expulsion of NUMSA, comrades. So there is not even ideological conversations happening there, comrades. It's all a matter of voting because they know that they are superior in terms of the numbers, comrades. So that is the reason why we are saying we are tired of palace politics. We will go back to our structures where the members own the federation, and we will engage, have a robust debate regarding the NUMSA's resolutions and what it is purported that they are guilty of. Thank you.
Thanks, Thanks. Comrades, we seem to have come to the end of questions and answers. There was another question that I'm not sure whether it was written or but it was from that side, which spoke on other items on the agenda. Those items were not dealt with. They were not.
They've achieved what they want.
Yeah, they were not dealt with. And of course, even if we were still to proceed in that meeting, it would have been just voting again and again and again, and the very items that needed more to be debated on. For an example, the status of the second deputy president. If we were still to be in that meeting, we were to be made vote, and thereafter voting, it would have endorsed her as the second deputy president. So we could not go that far. Yeah, thank you. Thanks the media personnel, and we hope you have been well answered. Thank you.
This is